Hey everyone, welcome back. Larry here again to share with you a new product I got my hands on earlier this summer. This is the Spike Flow brewing pump, right? I have used this once earlier this summer, back in a live stream brew day, if you recall. And I'm just finally now getting around to actually doing a little video on it for you. But first, the legalese, a little disclosure here. They did send this to me free of charge. I did not pay for this. Of course, as with all products, they send out products, companies in general, right, to get your opinions. Also, but more importantly, to get it in front of my viewers, which is why we are here today, right, to go over their pump. But like I said, I did use this before just one time on a live stream brew day way back in July, and it performed like a nice brew pump, right? It was quiet, which is really good for a live stream, right? Good for recording videos if you don't hear a loud squawking pump like I used to have with that old chugger pump I used to have, right? Well, I got rid of that pump in favor of a BEER-N Riptide pump, which is super quiet. Now, a few years later, Spike has come out with a very similar pump to that BEER-N Riptide. In fact, I got both of them right here. So you can see they're very similar to each other, but these are not exactly the same. There are some differences between them, and today I'm going to focus on the Spike specifically. Maybe someday come back around to a brew pump comparison video, but just to show you that they are very similar in appearance. A lot of the parts look very similar, right? But they're not 100% similar. There are some differences, particularly with the brewy or the pump head, right? So the Spike has got a brew head, a little different than that of the BEER-N Riptide. Now, Spike has done a more of a deep dive video from their perspective as to why their pump is better than others, and they've even gone over some of these pros and cons in one of their own videos that I'll link down below. But what sold me about this pump, there were two aspects to it that really caught my attention. The biggest one, and which is different from what the Riptide had, which is a little priming pump ring that came with the Riptide to bleed the air out of the lines to get rid of the cavitation when you first turn on the hoses into the pump. That would spray a lot everywhere, right, when you would use it. So I was hoping for a better solution, which Spike had come up with here. So what they have is a little adjustable screw here to do the bleeding, which will then allow the air and some of the liquid eventually, before it fills up with liquid, to drip out a small little hole here, a little exit where you could put like a little cup underneath it to catch any of the drippings before you close it up again after it's been primed. So that was a huge draw for me when I was looking at their pump, and one of the big reasons why I was reaching out to them to get my hands on one of them. Another enhancement they have over other pumps is on the inside of the pump head, which, if I get off here, let me lay down if I can here some of these parts. What is really a big draw for me is this rotating chopper piece with these rotating blades that are intended to chop up clogs, hops. Other tube that gets in from the brew kettle into the pump could possibly clog your pump, right? That would be horrible. Who wants to ever have that happen? Well, this is intended to break it up and keep the pump going and not having a clog. So that was the selling point number two that drew me to this pump. And the pump head comes apart, just like I was showing you, very easily with a triclover clamp, just like the BEER-N Riptide. And it makes it easy to remove, easy to clean, easy to unclog if it ever did clog, and easy to put back together again. So another advantage to this pump. And it all goes back together pretty easily too, right? You got one piece that goes in the pump head, this other piece goes on. This little O-ring can go on the inside of the pump head. Oh, and one more thing, one of the advantages that the Spike pump has over the Riptide is that it does not need there's a little tiny little washer on the Riptide pump that goes over this shaft, and if that little washer falls off while you're cleaning it or disassembling it and you lose it, well, then SOL, right? And you have to go get some new washers, which I actually did order a little pack that Blickman sells of replacement washers, or you can get your own if they're the right size. But that's not even a concern with the Spike Flow. You just put the O-ring back in, put the pump back on, the pump head back on, and let me do this live here. Almost a one-handed operation, really, right? Goes right on like that. A little screw, a little twist, and it's back on. Didn't have to mess with a screwdriver or power drill or anything to reassemble something like a chugger pump. It's also very quiet. In my anecdotal testing, it's very similar to the Riptide. Pretty darn quiet, especially considering another type of pump, like a chugger pump, which is to me super noisy. And if you're using a brew pump to recirculate for your entire mash period and whirlpool, you're going to be having this pump running quite a bit of your brew day, and who wants to listen to the loud noise that entire time? To me, it gives me a headache. Not so with the Spike Flow. Now, there is one disadvantage I realized after getting the Spike Flow pump, which I didn't realize initially when I first looked at getting one. It's the lack of a flow control valve. Whereas on something like on the Blickman Riptide, you can which comes with a built-in valve to control the flow rate coming out of the pump, right? The Spike didn't come with one. In fact, as you can see here, I had to put my own on the top of the outlet in order to control the flow rate to my liking, which is important for the mash, right? You want to have a specific flow rate for your mash tun in order to keep it from overfilling or over pulling, compacting your mash, right? You want to have that fine level, a bit of control over that flow rate. So the real negative of that, it doesn't come with one built in. Again, this valve here is not for that purpose. This is for bleeding the air out of the line. So just keep in mind, if you were to get this pump, you're going to want to also keep in mind the need for controlling flow through the pump. So in this case, again, I put my own little stainless steel valve on the top of the outlet there to facilitate that. And that is my initial look at the Spike Flow. I need to use it more often, a few more brews at least under my belt, to really get a good feel for how well it performs longer term, but no real complaints, except for the one I just mentioned, which is just something that you have to budget when you are to go buy one. Make sure you account for, again, a flow control valve. And aside from that, it seems to be a really good product, and I hope to use it, and I plan on using it more in the upcoming videos. So stay tuned. If you haven't yet subscribed, hit that subscribe button. If you like the video, give me that thumbs up. And any comments or questions, just put them in the comment section down below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. All right? So thanks for watching. I'll talk to you all next time.